Welcome to Will It Build, the series where I take your builds from my YouTube comments and Discord server and put them to the test to see if they are the real deal. If it's solid, then I'll gift you 1,000 silver, and if it's really something special, you'll be featured in a dedicated build video for your submitted build. So comment yours below so we can answer the question, will it build? Welcome to a very exciting episode of Will It Build. I say very exciting because I actually already have the answer to the question, will it build? And it is a resounding yes. The reason I know that is because while I was doing carries of Legend Wave 50 Onslaught on my stream, twitch.tv/Mactics, where we actually film all of these live, you should definitely stop by, someone that I played with actually used this build, and honestly, according to the kill scoreboard, carried me. And so I said, dude, that build looked ridiculous. We absolutely stomped Wave 50 Legend. What were you using? If you have not submitted it to Will It Build already, please do so I can review it. And they informed me it was already there. So I've gotten all the pieces put on. I've gotten everything set up. I'm going to let y'all know how it goes, and then we're going to figure out how to actually play it and how it works, and we're going to see the absolute magnificence of it in action. So this build was submitted by Night Wraith. It is called the Green Widow. So they recommend the Wishkeeper exotic bow for the kinetic slot. That is a very cool exotic bow that suspends everything. If you do not already have it, I have a guide video for it that I'll link in the description so you can see how to get it easily. Or if you do not have Wishkeeper, they have the backup as Quicksilver Storm. I know Quicksilver Storm did technically just get a nerf, but I've used it post nerf. It still feels absolutely exceptional. So I think you could get away with Quicksilver Storm as opposed to Wishkeeper. I think you'll be fine. As far as energy, they recommended the Indebted Kindness with Volt Shot. This is the sidearm from the Warlord's Ruin Dungeon. They informed me that this is not a requirement for the build. They just liked it for the anti-barrier sidearm that is going on this season. In addition to Volt Shot will also stun Overload champions as well. So with this build, you can stun Unstoppable champions with the suspend from the bow, and Barrier and Overload champions both with this sidearm through either the seasonal mod for anti-barrier champions or through the Volt Shot, which when you jolt enemies, an Overload enemy will get stunned. And yes, you can do both of those on this sidearm at the same time. As far as the heavy slot, they recommend the Semiotician. This is a craftable rocket from the Season of the Witch. Again, they informed me that this is not a requirement. They just felt like it performed really nicely with this build. This is the crafted roll that I have: enhanced bipod, enhanced field prep, impact casing, and a hard launch. I've also got a reload speed masterwork on this. Not sure if that is better than a handling masterwork. Up to you, but you rock and roll, but those are the weapons I have. As far as the rest of the build goes, you'll notice we have the Swarmer's exotic boots. So destroy and entangle will spawn a threadling. Your threadlings unravel targets that they damage, which is absolutely fantastic, especially when you pair that with the Horde Shuttle artifact perk and the Unraveling Orbs artifact perk. When you pick up an Orb of Power, you grant strand weapons unraveling rounds, which will happen to both our rocket and our bow, and damaging unraveled targets will spawn threadlings, which, you know, that synergizes incredibly with our Swarmer's exotic boots. Absolutely love that there, making sense to me so far. As far as the rest of the subclass, they've got us set up with the Shackle Grenade, but they inform me that this is not to actually use the Shackle Grenade. It's instead to use it with Mind Spun Invocation, where when we consume our Shackle Grenade, we activate the Weaver's Trance buff, where final blows with Weaver's Trance active create a suspending detonation, which is going to suspend everything nearby. That's why we actually have the Shackle Grenade there, not necessarily to actually throw the Shackle Grenade itself. As far as the other aspect, they have a setup with the Wanderer, where tangles that we throw attach to targets and detonate into a suspending burst. So we've got suspension from our bow, suspension from the burst of kills from Mind Spun Invocation, and suspension from throwing tangles. Additionally, destroying a tangle creates a suspending burst after a short delay as well, so we don't have to necessarily always throw them. We can alternatively shoot them as well. And threadling final blows, interestingly enough, also create a tangle. I don't think that aspect's going to be particularly necessary because every enemy that we're going to be shooting is going to be either suspended or unraveled, which means they'll create tangles anyway, but you know, worth noting just in case. As far as the fragments, we've got the Thread of Evolution, since we're going to be spawning a bunch of threadlings, going to deal additional damage and travel further. We've got the Thread of Wisdom, where defeating suspended targets creates an Orb of Power. No need for explanation there with this build. Thread of Generation, so we can have our grenade up more frequently to eat for the Mind Spun Invocation. And then the Thread of Warding, so anytime we pick up an Orb of Power, we get Woven Mail. Biggest damage resistance buff in the entire game as far as subclasses are concerned. Totally makes sense to me. What's interesting with this build, though, is the mod setup. Obviously, it makes sense that we have double harmonic siphon for our strand weapons, but what's interesting is they're recommending Ashes to Assets and Firepower. When I asked them why they had these mods when they were running it with me the other day, they said that when you eat your grenade for a Mind Spun Invocation, and then you get the suspending detonations from Final Blows while Weaver's Trance is active, those suspending detonations actually count as grenade damage and can therefore proc Ashes to Assets and Firepower if they get Final Blows, since they count as grenade damage. Definitely something we're going to test, but if that is the case, that's an absolutely incredible synergy and very creative. That's why I love Willa Build, is because people get really creative with this stuff. Also got Momentum Transfer and Bolstering Detonation, so every time we cause damage with a grenade, we get melee ability refund and class ability refund. Makes perfect sense to me. As far as the chest, they recommended whatever reserves, resistances you want. I went with a Concussive Dampener and a Void Resistance. On the boots, they said we want Recuperation, so that every time we pick up an orb, we get a chunk of healing. Strand Weapon Surge for 10% bonus strand weapon damage anytime we're armor charged, and a Harmonic Scavenger so that we get many more rockets for our strand rocket anytime we pick up a heavy brick. And then Reaper for Orb of Power Generation when we cast a class ability, and Time Dilation so that that strand weapon surge lasts a little bit longer. So this is what I'm liking for the seasonal artifact. Main things here: Horde Shuttle, Unraveling Orbs, Argent Ordnance, Overload Rockets, Dragon's Bite, Torch, and Wish into Being, and then obviously the Piercing Sidearms as well. Maybe Blast Radius as well, I think is going to be nice. The other stuff, I'm not caring about quite as much. Ooh, we could go Unstoppable Bow as well, though. I think this is the seasonal artifact mod spread that you want to end up with. So you just take a screenshot, go ahead and copy what I've got on the board here. So let's load up into Legend Onslaught on the Vostok map and answer that question. And while we're flying in, I do want to mention, like I said, we record all these live at twitch.tv/Mactics. If you like my fashion, specifically the shader, you can actually unlock this shader in-game by coming over to my stream and gifting 2 subs. It's called the Watcher's Shade shader, and that's actually the only way to get it, is by coming to a Destiny live stream and dropping 2 gifted subs. And conveniently, I'm actually doing a subathon to celebrate the fact that I am actually becoming a full-time content creator. Friday is my last day of work, so on Friday and Saturday, I'll be live pretty much all day doing Legend Wave 50 Onslaught carries and runs with viewers, so you should 100% stop by. We'd love to see you in there, and we'd love to have you celebrate with us. Just look at my weapons right now in the lower left. I have all 3 champion icons right there. This build can smash any Grandmaster Nightfall. It can take care of either race and Legend Onslaught. You're good to go. Whoa, okay. Thank God for editing, right? Okay, so every time we get a final blow with this, we get a stack of Snare Weaver, and if I recall correctly, a precision hit will also grant a stack of Snare Weaver. And if you get a final blow that is also a precision hit, then you get 2 stacks. That's just what I remember from last I used it. And then obviously once you have Snare Weaver fully stacked, you can hip fire, and it puts out the web of the Strand Anarchy web that'll snare everything. Ugh. Okay, I want to be eating my grenade as well, so I get Weaver's Trance. And so now, suspending Final Blows should create... Or Final Blows should create... Okay, yep. Right there. And there's a ton of Unravel going all over the place. And everything is suspended. And I can throw out the suspension minefield there. And... Okay. Dude. My screen is just like a fireworks show of unraveling orbs and everything getting suspended. This is beautiful. I mean, like I said, I already knew that this thing was going to work out exceptionally well. But I didn't expect it to feel this good. Yeah, so what I'm learning is I think my rocket is going to be for the tankier targets. My bow is going to be like my typical go-to weapon. And my Indebted Kindness sidearm is going to be my close range weapon. It's kind of what it's feeling like right now. Boom. Next thing on my list to figure out is what they told me, that if I consume my grenade for Weaver's Trance and then I activate the Suspending Blast, does that in fact count as grenade damage and will therefore proc Ashes to Assets, Firepower, Bolstering Detonation, and Momentum Transfer? So that's what I want to try and figure out right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast my class ability to make sure I have no class ability energy left. And then, once this next wave spawns, I'm going to eat my grenade. And we're going to see if we get a chunk back to our class ability energy when we cause our suspending burst. And it looks like we did. It is on a cooldown. It has an internal 7-second cooldown, but I feel like it's working. Okay, so more controlled environment. Let's cast our class ability. Let's eat our grenade, so we have Weaver's Trance. Suspending Burst. Okay, that definitely gave me a chunk of class ability energy, so... And I just created 3 orbs of power. I believe one of the orbs I created was from Reaper, Weapon Final Blow after I casted my class ability. Another one was from Strand Siphon, because I must have gotten a Strand multi-kill. And then another one must have been Firepower, because the Suspending Burst must have gotten a Final Blow on an enemy. That is the only way that I would get 3 orbs of power by firing 1 arrow. So I'm 99% sure that confirms it. Yes, final blows with the Suspending Burst do in fact count as grenade damage, which means that all of those mods are actually very well selected. I love how much ammo this build has. I have 50 ammo in my special ammo rocket sidearm, and I have 14 rockets that can go up to a maximum of 16. Feels like it's impossible to run out of ammo on this build, especially considering that we have the harmonic scavenger for the rocket, where every rocket brick pickup is probably going to give us, like, I don't even know how many rockets, like what, 5, 6? Okay, let's get the Snare Weaver down. Let's eat our Suspending Grenade. Something I think I need to do a better job of as well is making sure I'm actually destroying the tangles, because I'm going to spawn 2 Threadlings from my Swarmers every time I destroy the tangles. And we already kind of went over how many benefits we get every time we spawn Threadlings through our seasonal artifact mods, through our fragments, through our aspects. We get so much stuff that's going on. And while we're on that subject, yes, seasonal artifact mods definitely do benefit this build a lot, but in my opinion, I don't think that this build is going to be weakened significantly even without the seasonal artifact mods that we're currently utilizing right now. I think it'll still be exceptional, because everything that I'm doing right now to this pack of enemies, where they basically can't even get through because of my Snare Weaver cage, I can still do this even without all the seasonal artifact mods. Seasonal artifact mods just give me a little bit of extra damage. Let's start... Oh my god. Dude, all the Threadlings and all the Unravel is absurd. And then if I throw this, that should suspend everything and generate Threadlings, and then the Threadlings will attack the suspended stuff, and then it makes another tangle, which spawns more Threadlings, and now all the Unravel is hitting everything, and when... what? I know right walking into this video, we did not have to contemplate the question, will it build? We kind of already knew the answer to it was yes. I think now we actually have to start to contemplate the very rare question that we actually have to raise in these will it build videos. Is this deserving of its very own dedicated build guide video? Because it kind of feels like it. I mean, I feel like this thing is going to be ridiculous with boss damage as well. I'm going to shoot that tangle so I generate some Threadlings. And then I'm going to run in. I'm going to pop my Needle Storm on that guy. And then I'm going to get out. I'm going to pop my Shackle Grenade so I have my Suspending Bursts on final blows so I can do a good job with some ad cleanup. Maybe get my Rift down for some healing. And I'm just going to try and kill a couple trash mobs for the Suspending Burst. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted right there. And then the Threadlings and the Unravel that just comes from everything just... This is something. And I've got the rocket sidearm for pretty decent damage. I haven't even used my actual rocket yet, the Semi-Otician. So far, I'm compelled to rank this Will It Build submission in like the top 5 all-time Will It Build submissions in terms of its strength, at least for this particular activity. And we have a Tormentor. Yay. I feel like with the Tormentor up, this is where we're really gonna see how good this thing is. Okay, I'm gonna try and lure the Tormentor over here. Chuck that at him, get some good damage. How does my Needle Storm do against him? Okay. I mean, for a Tormentor, that's not that bad. Then get the Rocket Sidearm back out. And, fun fact for those who didn't know, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you didn't know this, so I can teach you more Destiny stuff. You can use the batteries to heal your decoys. See how Shax is glowing red, indicating that he has low HP? See how he's no longer glowing red? You can do that for both the turrets and the decoys. The cool thing, too, is, since the Threadlings unravel enemies that they hit, the Threadlings will hit an enemy, unravel them, and deal damage to them. And then the unravel from the enemy will kill the enemy, generate a tangle from the enemy, and blow up the tangle all in one go. And then blowing up the tangle, thanks to the swarmers, sends out another wave of threadlings, and it just kind of like rinse and repeats. So like, watch right here. Blows up that guy, creates unraveling, sends out a threadling. Threadling blows up that guy. And then my tangle generation was still on cooldown, but if it wasn't, that guy would have made another tangle and I would have been able to do it again. I just got asked in the live chat, is it best to have the catalyst for the bow? I would highly recommend the catalyst, because when you have the catalyst, that allows you to rock and roll with hatchling on the bow, where precision final blows will spawn a threadling, or sorry, not just precision final blows, rapidly defeating targets with the weapon as well. Will spawn a threadling, which, like, you know, more threadlings are going to be good because we got the thread of evolution, we've got our swarmers, we got a whole bunch of stuff that threadlings are just generally going to be good for. Okay, let's get that Weaver's Trance. Oh, what a beauty. Love that. Sorry, fellas, this area is under construction. All right, so I feel like we're through with actually understanding how the build works, understanding how all the pieces and parts come together. Now it's just to show that it can excel at even wave 40. So I'm gonna have the editor do a little, you know, kind of montage moment to get us through the next 15 waves, and then we'll catch back up once we're at wave 40 to show that it absolutely still slaps once we're there. We're already on wave 40? That was fast. Yeah, still basically destroying everything on wave 40, which, you know, this is where things are the hardest. Get the strand web down. Grab this tangle. Okay, as long as I can get the shield off him, I'm good. Okay, now I want to eat my grenades, so I have my suspending final blows. There's my tangle for the threadlings that are also going to suspend every... Yeah, this is wave 43 with the shielded sky bomber. If that doesn't convince you that this build is insanely good for Legend Onslaught, I don't really know what will. Oh no. Is this the sword guy? Oh, you have got to be kidding me. What is... He doesn't even have a weapon. What? Oh, okay. Just kidding. I found his weapon. I'm loving this rocket sidearm. Especially considering I can jolt this guy when I kill him after... Or when I reload after I get a final blow. I'm gonna wait until he does his... Yep. And just like that with this build, puts the money where the mouth is. Wave 50 Legend Onslaught clear, first try, just like we did yesterday. Did it again today with this build. So, will it build? We already knew the answer. Absolutely, yes. What we need to answer is, are we going to make a dedicated build video on this build? And I think the answer is no, but not because it's not absolutely spectacular. It's because I can't really see a way that I would improve upon this. I feel that there's no need to make a build guide video, because I would just recommend these exact same weapons, I would recommend the exact same subclass setup, and I would recommend the exact same mod setup. And you can take a screenshot of all three just like that. So, will it build? Absolutely yes. Should you run this in Legend Onslaught? Yeah. Absolutely, yes. I think it's going to make it a piece of cake. Night Wraith, thank you so much for the submission. If you guys want your build reviewed in a video like this, make sure to submit it in the Will It Build channel in my Discord server or in a YouTube comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you at the subathon on Friday and Saturday at twitch.tv/Mactics. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.